Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pitchside Podcast channel. I am your host, the HOD of the PSP. As usual, like, share, comment on this video what you think of the game, subscribe to the channel most importantly, and enable notifications to receive the updates of these match recaps and all other content on the channel. Follow us on social media. I'm at PSP on Twitter, Pitchside Pod on Instagram, and you can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any other platform, dropping tomorrow, the 53rd episode. We're coming to you straight after the game between Borussia M'Gladbach and Borussia Dortmund at the Borussia Park, where Borussia Mönchengladbach managed to defeat Borussia Dortmund 4-2 in a game that was really entertaining, and I said it in the podcast episode, it was entertaining to watch, it was brilliant, and certainly it brought the goods in terms of enjoyment. This game, I think, could be summed up in one sentence: set-piece defending in general pretty much is the kryptonite for Borussia Dortmund. Really, they can't do defending, it seems, at the moment. They're not structured, they're not built to defend. The start was pretty strong for Borussia Mönchengladbach, straight off the bat scoring a goal that was chalked off for a foul by VAR. It took a little bit too long, but eventually it was rightfully chalked off for a foul on Jude Bellingham. Then of course they scored later on. They took, strong first 10 minutes or so, scoring the first goal, of course, and then, caving in for the rest of the first half pretty much in the bag, not having a lot of opportunities. After those first 15 minutes, they had the second goal also. Of course, as we mentioned, had a second goal later on in the first half, but between those, it was a brilliant brace from Erling Haaland, proving his prowess as a striker, increasing his tally to 14 goals this season. But let's stop a little bit of some tactical details really in this game. Borussia Mönchengladbach started with a 4-4-2, pretty much that morphs into a 4-2-3-1 in actual reality when you think of it. Stindl plays behind Hoffmann, who plays almost as a false nine, who moves a lot forward. Neuhaus as well is behind him. There is Kramer as the building block in the midfield, the holding defender, which was good as far as pressing Dortmund high and pinning them to their defense, but it wasn't good in terms of defending because it left a lot of space in the midfield. And we said it in the Mönchengladbach versus Bayern game that the midfield of Borussia Mönchengladbach kind of buckles under pressure a little bit, and they gave a couple of balls away. And when there is Royce, Brandt and Sancho all coming in and tucking in from outside and into your midfield, certainly that creates a lot of space, that creates a lot of movement, and creates a lot of mistakes for Borussia Mönchengladbach to deal with, and that's what caused the two goals. Really, the brilliant movement, the interplay, the link up between those three players alongside Haaland as well, that quartet moving so swiftly and quickly as well, most importantly, behind the lines of Borussia Mönchengladbach to score those two goals. But again, set-piece defending is so shambolic, so horrendous for Borussia Dortmund. They concede the first goal in a set-piece, the cross that pretty much everybody was watching go into the head of Nico Elvedi for the first goal. Then the second goal was even worse, a free kick, the wall was pretty much set up in the worst way possible, leaving space behind him. Stindl shot straight in that space, Roman Buki with the parry right in front of Nico Elvedi. Too much ball watching in that space inside the 6-yard box. He scores a second goal, and it ends parity restored in the first half. In the second half, Borussia Mönchengladbach starts strong as well, start the first 15 minutes as well, so strong, scoring the third goal as well, by the way. A beautiful finish from Rami Ben Sabini, the Algerian left back, who's incredible at the moment for Borussia Mönchengladbach. He is one of their best players so far, and he does so well on the ball and off the ball. The way he moved behind the defenders, behind the young Matteo Mori, which his side, the right side of Borussia Dortmund's defense, was really capitalized on, I think, for the rest of the second half. Ben Sabini moved swiftly, cut inside Julian Brandt, and a curler that is absolutely wonderful. You should go out and check it. It's a brilliant finish from Ben Sabini. After that 3-2, Borussia Mönchengladbach caved in, made themselves compact, made themselves a fundamentally, more closed down side. They caved into defense. They formed themselves into a 4-5-1 kind of formation, leaving Player on his own up front, and after a while he was tired. They tried bouncing on the counters, but Player was certainly leggy and jaded by 64 to 65 minutes into the game. He was substituted. Thuram came in, and it was, an attack versus counter kind of game, attack versus counter attack kind of game from Borussia Mönchengladbach, where they tried to bounce on the wide spaces left in that midfield for Dortmund, really, which with the absence of both Delaney and Witsel, it lacked that sort of holding midfielder presence. The defensive sort of work rate midfielder in there was lacking with Emre Can. We all know that he can't defend. Jude Bellingham isn't exactly a central midfielder, so you cannot rely on him in that position. So it was lots of spaces for Thuram, for Mbolo, who came on later on for Hoffmann, and then as well, of course, for Hannes Wolf coming on for Stindl, and it was again, acres of space to run into for the Borussia Mönchengladbach player, but the finish was lacking at certain points. Defensive tackles plus some saves from Roman Burki, and of course, in the 76th minute, it was again the set-piece defending killing Dortmund. Corners defending is really, really bad when it comes to Borussia Dortmund. They can't defend corners anymore. Marcus Thuram, leaping header, basically on his own, nobody's marking him, scores the 4th goal, and from there it was Borussia Mönchengladbach seeing off the game, Borussia Dortmund trying to save face in any way, scoring a 3rd goal. Erling Haaland was pretty much absent in the second half. They brought in Moukoko. It didn't exactly help bringing in Giovanni Reina. It was really, really open for Borussia Mönchengladbach on counter-attack, and certainly Borussia Dortmund, with this kind of loss, they regressed a lot in the table. They are 5th, they're not that low, but in terms of points, 10 points behind Bayern, and Bayern Munich already have a game in hand, so that could be 13 by Sunday, which doesn't bode well for a side that supposedly were the 2nd best side in Germany for years now. It looks legitimately like they're going to be needing some sort of revamp in the next couple of months. So Borussia Mönchengladbach, they get into the top 4 finally. They overtake Borussia Dortmund, and now they get closer to Bayer Leverkusen. They could finish as high as 3rd, and before this they were 7th on the table. This is brilliant from Borussia Mönchengladbach. This is probably the best kind of Borussia Mönchengladbach that we've seen in the last couple of weeks, in the Bayern victory and this one, and in the couple of games as of late. Marco Rose, all credit to him, has the a determined shape, a defined shape for his side, a defined tactical structure that he wants to use. Against the Dortmund side that didn't know what to do, didn't have a proper shape, again, loads of spaces. The absences of the midfield were really damaging, and certainly they were too slow in the second half to capitalise. That when they didn't find the spaces in that midfield area and behind Haaland, the passes didn't get to Haaland, who had to drop wide and couldn't have anything significant in the second half. So that's Haaland lost, and Dortmund couldn't get anything for their credit in the second half, aside from 1 or 2 fleeting moments late on. That's it. Again, an important victory for Mönchengladbach, gets them in the top 4. Dortmund now regressing. We'll wait and see what's going to happen in the rest of the season for Dortmund, and for Mönchengladbach, it's certainly the right time to start picking up big victories. Like, share, comment on this video again, subscribe to the channel, most importantly, enable notifications to receive all the updates. Follow us on social media, site PSP on Twitter, PitchSidePod on Instagram, and you can listen to the podcast tomorrow on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any other platform. I was your boy, the HOD of the PSP, and until the next time, I'll see you soon.